All right, let's get right into it. We are looking at a huge strategic pivot that's happening in India right now. And, this isn't just some minor policy tweak. It could literally reshape the global supply chains for some of the most important industries on the planet.
But before we get into the weeds, let me ask you something. Just think for a second about the phone in your pocket or the laptop you're on right now. Think about electric cars and really the entire green energy revolution. What is the one thing they all absolutely depend on?
You guessed it, it's critical minerals. These things are the secret ingredients, the real foundation of our entire modern world. And the question of who actually controls them, well, that's becoming one of the biggest geopolitical dramas of the 21st century. So, to really get why India is making this massive move, we have to first understand the problem they're trying to solve. And that problem, really, it boils down to one thing: being dangerously dependent on a single source. And that right there is a massive strategic vulnerability. And I mean, just look at this. The numbers are just staggering. When we talk about processing rare earth minerals, the stuff that's essential for everything from iPhones to fighter jets, China isn't just the market leader. They're practically the entire market, processing almost 90% of the world's supply. And it doesn't stop with rare earths. Take graphite, for example. Super important for EV batteries. Well, China controls around 70% of the refining for that, too. This isn't just a strong market position, it is a strategic chokehold on the global economy. And let's be clear, we're not talking about some abstract thing here. These minerals are the literal lifeblood of our economy. Without a steady supply, you can pretty much forget about electric vehicles, wind turbines, smartphones, and even sophisticated defense systems. The stakes are incredibly high. So for a rising power like India, this isn't just an economic headache. As the source material points out, this kind of import dependence, especially when you're relying on a geopolitical rival, creates a significant supply chain risk. It's a direct threat to your economy and your national security. Okay, so what is India doing about it? Well, instead of just accepting this reality, they're flipping the script. They're changing their own rules to act as a catalyst, basically trying to flip a giant switch and draw in a flood of new investment. Now, to understand their big move, we have to quickly define one term: royalty. It's pretty simple. It's just the fee a mining company has to pay the government for the right to mine and sell minerals. It's a huge part of the cost for any mining operation. And this is where India made a really clever change. The old system was totally rigid. You paid a flat fee for every ton you dug up, no matter what the market price was. The new system, it's way more flexible. The royalty is now just a percentage of whatever the company sells the minerals for. So think about it. When global prices dip, the company pays less, which makes it much easier to stay in business. It's a game changer for attracting investment. And get this, look how low they set the new rates. For that critical high-grade graphite for batteries, just 2%. For things like Caesium and Rubidium, which are vital for high-tech electronics, 2%. And Zirconium, for nuclear and defense tech, an unbelievably low 1%. This is basically India rolling out a giant open for business sign to the entire world. But just changing the royalty rates is only the first step. The bigger ambition here is to build a whole supply chain inside India, from digging the raw stuff out of the ground all the way to making to finished high-tech products. And they have a clear roadmap for this. Step 1, start auctioning off the mining rights for these areas. Step 2, and this is crucial, is to seriously boost what's called downstream processing. That's building the refineries and factories to turn the raw ore into valuable stuff. And step 3, get private companies and global experts involved who have the cash and the tech to make it all happen. And they are absolutely putting their money where their mouth is. To get that downstream manufacturing going, the government is planning to pump up its incentive program for making rare earth magnets, the kind you need for electric cars, to over $788 million. That is a serious commitment. So, this is the point where a domestic economic plan starts to look like a global strategic vision. All of these individual moves are designed to achieve something much, much bigger: to position India as a brand new major player on the world's critical minerals stage. And the end game here is not a secret. It's to become a democratic counterbalance to China in this critical supply chain. It's all about giving the rest of the world another option, a stable, reliable, and friendly place to get the materials that are going to power our future. The big picture vision is for India to become what they're calling the third pillar of a new democratic supply network. So you'd have the United States, Japan, and now India all working together. This is about more than just business. It's about building a global supply chain that's more secure and resilient for everyone involved. And what's really smart is how this global ambition perfectly matches up with India's own goals at home. It fuels their big mission of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means a self-reliant India. And at the same time, it provides the materials for their own huge transition to clean energy. It's a strategy that just works on multiple levels. Now, this is a brilliant, super ambitious plan, but let's be real for a second. The road ahead is not going to be easy. It's time for a quick reality check on some of the major hurdles they're facing. And these challenges are no joke. For one, a lot of India's mineral deposits are low grade, which just means they're harder and more expensive to process. Right now, the country also doesn't have a ton of the advanced refining technology it's going to need. Then there are the strict environmental laws you have to navigate. And maybe the biggest hurdle of all, it can take more than a decade, 10 years, to get a new mine up and running, all while global prices for these minerals are bouncing all over the place. So, that really brings us to the final multi-billion-dollar question. India has the plan. The incentives are on the table. The geopolitical vision is crystal clear. But with all of these massive technical, financial, and regulatory hurdles ahead, is the will to see this through strong enough to actually build a new global order for critical minerals? Well, that's the story we'll all be watching.